Hello out there in cryptocurrency land. Welcome back to Real Crypto. So thank you very much for those of you in the live stream today that gave me well wishes for my camping trip. And yes, it was nice. It was nice to get away from everyone. Had a hard time checking the prices on the coins this weekend. Had like one bar of sell signal. It was up and down, in and out. So you kind of know how that goes. But I went cash before the trip. I don't know if I needed to, but I did. This cryptocurrency market right now is just kind of choppy. There's not a lot going on, and sometimes those markets can just do some crazy things. But hopefully none of you got hurt too much because it was a pretty benign weekend for the most part. We had Ethereum and Bitcoin pretty much flat, and one coin that we were looking at last week, First Blood, actually made it to our target. We'll look at that one a little bit later, but let's look at Bitcoin right now. So there's a divergence actually between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin at this moment in time has a pretty strong uptrend right here, indicated by this trend line that you can easily draw on the chart. And as long as it's above this trend line, we have an intact uptrend, and I wouldn't be getting too bearish on it. Just enjoy the ride, and if it breaks the trend line, maybe you consider taking profits. We'll see what the action is like at that moment in time. Ethereum, on the other hand, a different story. We kind of have some sideways action, not doing a whole lot. The volume here is very quiet, very small volume, and we just don't have that series of higher highs that we have in Bitcoin. This is really just choppy action. I would avoid Ethereum pretty much here at all costs if you want to trade it. Obviously, hodlers, you have a different mindset and a different, not a mindset, but you have a different plan. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about Ethereum here. We'll just kind of have to wait and see what the market does, but it does look like it's running out of bull steam, if you will. It's not a lot of buying coming into Ethereum. Let's take a look at Ripple and Litecoin. Ripple has a pretty interesting symmetrical triangle that is formed here after the breakout of its declining trend line, which we covered last week. So we have a nice bull symmetrical triangle, and hopefully this gets broken to the upside. But the thing about symmetrical triangles is they can really do anything, as they kind of show an agreement between buyers and sellers that they're kind of coming, to this 2045 level. That's kind of what they agree this is worth, and we'll see who's going to win that battle, but you can't do much until then. Litecoin, also a symmetrical triangle, and Litecoin, less of a bull run on the upside, but still a symmetrical triangle nonetheless. Getting some decent volume pops here. So this is looking pretty good, but again, you have to wait until it breaks out of the triangle, hopefully on some good volume, and then we'll kind of see where things go from there. Let's take a look at IOTA. A lot of IOTA fans out there, I've noticed. I have a lot of lines on this chart. Yeah, so it looks like IOTA rose up here on some pretty decent volume and has been pulling back. The volume has been pretty light, pretty benign, but it still is a pullback. It's still above that key 50-cent level by about, what is that, like 10%, 12%, something like that, 15%. So yeah, we're above that 50-cent level, which is good. We're coming back down to this breakout level, so hopefully we can see some support here and we can curl upwards. That would kind of keep an uptrend intact in IOTA, so that would be really nice. Omisego, everybody loves Omisego. Unfortunately, Omisego is not loving you back. Omisego has two trend lines here. Both have been failed. This one just failed today on this trend line. So look for this to go further, in my opinion. I don't know exactly how much further, but keep in mind Omisego had a 2,500% uptrend to contend with, and that has not really had any significant shakeout or sell-off. So what it looks like is happening in Omisego is it's going to have a nice high sideways action, and then when we break out from 1350, I mean, hey, all bets are off at that point. Maybe we go back up to $20, $30, $40. Who knows where this thing can go. Omisego is a fantastic coin. Maybe gets up to 50 bucks. Just throwing some numbers out there. But look, it had a 2,500% increase. So from $13.50, a $27 price target would be a 100% increase from the top here. So that's not out of the ballpark. We know that a 300% increase would be what, $39, $40. So nothing too shabby there. 300% in these coins happen all the time. But I don't see that in the cards in the near term future. That's going to be a much further out target. Neo has kind of been leading this market uptrend. It is still strong. However, with Ethereum flat, I don't know exactly how strong most of the altcoins are going to do. Well, as you can see, there's a lot of chop in the market. But Neo broke out of this cup with handle pattern that it formed here. Here's the handle. it had a low entry point right down here in the break of this trend line, and an actual traditional entry point right here where my cursor is, and you can see we just pulled back and tested this level, and so far we have a little bit of upward movement, which is bullish. So let's just kind of wait to see what happens here. But so far it looks like upward we go. You can draw a trend line right here. You can draw a trend line right there and kind of see the upward momentum that NEO does have. And if this breaks, then we'll just kind of have to wait and see what happens at that moment in time. But we're well above this trend line. So even if it goes sideways and still, that puts us at 3 or 4 days, even if we go sideways here, that's still well within this, this trend line. And the subtrend would definitely be intact. So let's keep an eye on NEO. Hopefully you have a good position in NEO. We've been talking about it for a while, and hope you guys got in on that. We did talk about QTUM as well in the chat room last week. I have an inverted head and shoulders. Here's the left shoulder, here's the head, here's the right shoulder. And as you know, you can take the peaks between the shoulders, draw a trend line across of it, and boom, we broke out of that neckline. We've pulled back and tested that neckline today in low volume. That is very good. That is a very good sign. Hopefully we continue higher from here. That's the game plan for QTUM. As far as profit target, we can look up here towards the 35 level to take some profit. If you're unfamiliar with QTUM, they're having a token swap in about 2 days. On 10/4, they're supposed to do a token swap, so people that have this QTUM, it's like a coupon, if you will. It's like a placeholder, an IOU, if you will, and then you'll actually get actual QTUM. So it's kind of an interesting thing that's happening there. So hopefully we get a pop into that, which, 2 days in crypto world is quite a long time. So if we can get up towards 36, I think that'd be fantastic in QTUM. Let's take a look at First Blood. We talked about First Blood. Just kind of want to show you guys how this technical analysis stuff works, especially for those of you that really don't believe in it. There's some people out there that say, technical analysis is this, technical analysis is that. But let me just kind of show you what it can do for you. All right, so here's First Blood. We talked about this, and I tweeted about this. Tweeted about First Blood here. So this is also an inverted head and shoulders pattern. Here's the left shoulder, here's the head, here's the right shoulder. You can take the two points between the neck and the head and draw a trend line. And so there's your break of the neckline here. Boom, we went up. So I actually took a position here on this breakout. It broke out really well, but then it came right back down, and I actually sold my position over here, went camping, obviously. And then we proceeded to have a nice shakeout, and then boom, look at that. Look at that. So right here, the reason this line is here is this is the actual target that is inferred from this head and shoulders pattern. How you can actually infer that target, looks like I've actually deleted that trend line, but you can take a line from the neckline to the head. Okay, go ahead and draw that. And then you can actually move that line over here to the breakout point. And then that's really going to infer where your target is going to be for that move. Okay, so that's where this line comes from. It's not just arbitrarily drawn, it's drawn from this neckline break. And look at that. I mean, hey, sometimes these things don't work out, sometimes they do. And so this is just a case where they did. This is a profit-taking zone, and I don't know if you would have caught that top. That's a really perfect top, if you will. So very few people are actually going to catch that, even with sell limit orders. But this would have been your sign to start taking profits. So anyway, there you go. There's a little bit of technical analysis on the inverted head and shoulders pattern. And yeah, the markets are just kind of chopping around here. We're seeing a divergence between Bitcoin and Ethereum, so that can mean a number of things. But for right now, I think it's going to mean general choppiness. Some things are going to be favored more than others. NEO and Bitcoin are obviously favored. For some reason, Pay is failing, and for some reason, Ethereum is failing. No one actually really knows why. I don't think anyone can tell you why. But all you can do is look at the charts and just kind of infer what's happening here. I think I talked about Pay, but I'm not 100% certain. So Pay, we talked about a double bottom here. If this bottom breaks out, I would ditch out of Pay at that moment in time until it shows you some bottoming action. Then you can get back in. If you want to take a position down here thinking this is a low, that's fine. Just have a stop loss in place as well. So there you go, guys. There's the daily update. Subscribe if you like the video. Like the video if you like the video. And for those of you interested in QTUM and Pay and NEO, yeah, go ahead and just take this analysis and do with it what you will. But I think all three have different use cases, and all three, especially QTUM is gonna be really interesting the next couple of days. I think Pay has this level right here which needs to be watched, and Neo is just on a bull run, pretty much doing what it wants to do. All right, guys, have a good one. We will see you tomorrow in the live stream, and we will see you tomorrow in the daily recap.